What's up, y'all? What y'all doing? Y'all, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get on to what I'm doing here. So I told y'all I supposed to been writing a song for like the last 3 days, but I've been avoiding writing the song. But now I'm getting so bored in here, I guess I'll just go ahead and start messing with the song. Anywho, it don't do nothing but elevate my mind and stimulate me to come up with new words and new rhythms and new stuff, matching schemes and stuff. It's good for my health. But let me say this. I've talked about this, and I've talked about this a couple of times, but I don't talk about it as much. But if you go back to my channel, especially on my YouTube channel, I do talk about myself and some problems that I have and some things that are difficult for me to overcome. But, I take them with a grain of salt and I deal with them. But lately, I've kind of just been running from it or whatever. So, y'all know that I have a speech impediment. And so sometimes, like when I'm writing, uh, it's not really when I'm writing R&B songs to sing. It's more when I'm writing rap. It's more like I have a trigger tone. Like I struggle to get the words out because of my speech impediment or whatever. But then a lot of times, if I take my time and I get used to the song and I get the placement and I start singing it until it starts sinking in my head, then I can get it. But it's just the frustration sometimes that I want to put it on here fast or I want to learn it or whatever. But like I said, sometimes the tip of my tongue gets in the way because I have a triggered tongue or whatever. So sometimes I trip over a lot of my words, but I'm so wise that I can make it make sense. But it's just a thing, like other people, are able to get their words out clear, and I have to trip and fall and stumble over mine. So sometimes when I'm not in that zone or whatever, that can, if like I said, if it's not R&B, if it's rap, sometimes that can kind of deteriorate me or turn me the other way from writing rap. But rap is my passion. I love it, and I'm not gonna let this tongue get in the way or whatever. But that's part of the reason why I have been avoiding writing rap, because I don't feel like tripping over my tongue all the time. But at the same time, it's like, well, you be listening to other people raps and you be learning their raps and you pretty good with their raps, and you don't be stuttering over your tongue then, or tripping, falling when you singing their raps. You know they raps by heart. But when it comes to something that you got to put your time in and hard effort and stuff in, sometimes you avoid that because it's you have to be a rapper or write music to understand where I'm coming from with this. And then sometimes, you say some slick shit when you writing the rap, and that shit be slick as hell. And then it's like when you go get the pen, you don't remember the exact format that you had it in unless you record it or unless you stay on it or whatever. But if you go to sleep and then wake up, you done lost the way you done worded it, the way you said it. Now you can't remember that exactly, that mind scheme, that mind frame that you was in. So now you got to go back and kind of say something similar to that. But what you said the first time was cold. But once you come out your mouth with it and you ain't got a pen and you freestyling, then you lost it, because now you trying to catch that behind that and you said some more fly shit. So I don't know. I get frustrated sometimes. Thank you. I get frustrated sometimes when I'm writing or whatever. But if I was to ever do a performance, it would probably be more R&B, or unless I would lip sync my raps, because ain't no way in the hell I could keep going and not trip over. I could trip over them, but I could catch them with other things to say. But then other things to say with me tripping over my words would take me down different avenues and different paths, which is good too, or whatever. Because sometimes I'll be on here with these guys that want you to throw a word out under the comments and they'll take that and roll. So I can do that sometimes, but I have to be in the mind frame for it. I have to be feeling that way. Like I have different personalities, as y'all know. So y'all see me on here catching words and stuff. So it's nothing to do that. But if you're not trying to write a piece like that, then it interferes with the piece you're trying to write. If that makes sense. Well, let me get here and mess with this stuff. I'll be back. But I was just dealing with my frustration here about my speech impediment, because sometimes my palate does get in the way. It makes me feel some type of way. But I'm not going to let it hinder me. And I wrote a lot of music. And I have music that y'all have never heard before. And I have music that I haven't put out yet because I need, like a record cover and stuff like that. I have plenty of music, whether it be rap and R&B. But it was just the struggle that it takes to get the words in place. But like I said, though, once I keep playing with it and then getting the words together, I don't know if it's so much of my speech impediment or if it's so much that it's so cold that I want to know it so bad, and that I get ahead of myself talking and rapping like I already know it. You know what I mean? Or it could be both. Anywho, don't let me take up y'all time. I was just kind of dealing with, some undercurrent water that I be having, when I deal with myself.